An 80-page SOC report lands on your desk. Most people flip straight to the opinion, see the word unqualified, and file it away, and in doing so, they miss the entire point. Because the real value isn't the grade at the top, it's what's underneath, what was tested, what failed, and what you are still responsible for. In this video, Part 2, how to actually read a SOC report, and the trust services criteria at its heart. Welcome back. In Part 1, we mapped the SOC landscape, the three players, SOC 1, 2, and 3, and Type 1 versus Type 2. Now we open the report itself. I'm Professor Lamptey. Here's the plan. The sections every SOC report contains, the auditor's opinion and what can go wrong with it, the trust services criteria that define a SOC2, the shared responsibility controls you can't ignore, and how subservice organizations are handled, all by reading our provider's actual report. Every SOC report follows the same skeleton. Learn these sections. Section 1, the Independent Service Auditor's Report, the CPA's opinion. Section 2, Management's Assertion, the service organization's own written claim about its system. Section 3, Management's description of the system, how the system actually works. Section 4, the auditor's description of tests of controls and results, but only in a Type 2. And Section 5, any other information from management which is optional and unaudited. Opinion, assertion, description, tests, extras. Once you know the 5, an 80-page report stops being intimidating. You know exactly where to look. Start where everyone starts, the opinion, but read it properly. The service auditor gives one of 4 opinions. An unqualified opinion is clean. The controls are fairly described, suitably designed, and in a Type 2, operating effectively. A qualified opinion means mostly good, but with an exception in a specific area. An adverse opinion is a serious red flag. The controls are not effective. And a disclaimer means the auditor couldn't gather enough to form an opinion at all. Think of it like an audit grade. Unqualified is a clean pass. Qualified is passed, but note this one problem. Adverse is a fail. And a disclaimer is, we couldn't even grade it. For our provider, an unqualified Type 2 is what we're hoping to see. Now the 2 sections written by the service organization, not the auditor. The management assertion is the provider formally putting its name on the line, a written statement claiming its description is accurate and its controls are suitably designed and operating. It matters because it fixes responsibility. Management asserts, the auditor tests that assertion. The system description is the detailed narrative, the infrastructure, software, people, procedures, and data, and crucially the boundaries, exactly what is and isn't covered. Before you trust a single control, you read the description to confirm the report even covers the service you actually use. Here is the section most people skip and shouldn't, the heart of a Type 2. Section 4 lays out, control by control, exactly what the auditor did to test each one and what they found. This is where you see the real evidence, the tests performed and any exceptions, the instances where a control did not operate as intended. This is the difference between reading the grade and reading the exam. A report can carry an overall unqualified opinion and still list exceptions in Section 4 that matter to you. Always read the tests and results. That's where the truth of our provider's controls actually lives. Now, the framework at the center of every SOC2, the trust services criteria. These are the standards the auditor evaluates the controls against, and you must know all 5. Security, protecting the system against unauthorized access. Availability, keeping it up and accessible as agreed. Processing integrity, processing data completely, accurately, and on time. Confidentiality, protecting information designated as confidential. And privacy, handling personal information properly. Here is the point the exam loves. Security is special. It's called the common criteria, and it is required in every single SOC2 report, the mandatory baseline. The other 4, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy, are optional. included only if they're relevant to the services the provider offers. So our payroll provider's SOC2 will always cover security. Because it must be up on payday, it adds availability. Because it holds sensitive employee data, it adds confidentiality and privacy. The scope of an SOC2 is simply which of these 5 criteria it covers, always security, plus whichever others apply. Now, the single most overlooked part of any SOC report, and it's about you. Complementary User Entity Controls, or CUECs, are controls the report assumes you, the user entity, will perform. The provider's controls only work if you do your part. Remember the shared responsibility model from our cloud video? This is it, in writing. Our payroll provider secures its own system, but the report will state that we must manage our own users' access and promptly remove terminated employees on our side. If we skip our CUECs, their controls don't save us. Reading a SOC report isn't just judging the vendor, it's discovering your own homework. One more real-world wrinkle. Our provider has its own vendors, a subservice organization, say the data center it runs on. How does the report handle them? 2 methods. The carve-out method excludes the subservice organization's controls from this report. You're told they exist, but you must go get their SOC report separately and evaluate them yourself. The inclusive method folds them in. The subservice organization's controls are described and tested right here inside this report. Carve-out is far more common. So when you read that our provider carved out its data center, that's your cue. There's another SOC report you still need to review. So how do you actually read a SOC report, and what does the exam want? Check the type and period. Is it a type 2, and does the period cover the time you care about? Check the scope. Which trust services criteria are included? Read the opinion, and then read the tests and results for exceptions. Identify your CUECs, and check for carved-out subservice organizations. For the exam, lock in 3 things: the sections, opinion, assertion, description, tests. The trust services criteria, with security as the required common criteria, and that CUECs are the user entity's responsibility. Master those, and you don't just pass a question. You can pick up any SOC report in your career and know exactly what it's telling you. 60-second recap. A SOC report has 5 sections: the auditor's opinion, management's assertion, the system description, the tests and results, and other information. Opinions run from unqualified to adverse. ASOC2 is defined by the trust services criteria: security always, plus availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy as they apply. Complementary user entity controls are your responsibility, and subservice organizations are usually carved out. And with that, you've walked the entire ISC landscape, from general controls all the way to reading a SOC report. If this series helped you, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a lesson. Give this one a like to help the next student find it, and drop a comment telling me which topic finally clicked. I read every one. Now go pass that exam. I'm proud of the work you put in, and I'll see you in the next one.